Hello, this is chapter 5, and then it's essentially just like focusing on the people's strengths and who they are already. And so the first part of it is like let them become more of who they already are, which I think that's just like in general, like it's really cool to like let people just be who they are, and like that's essentially what the world like wants to be. It's just hard because everyone has like so many just biases and like judgments just like straight up, and so like no one can really be who they want to be. And so I think it's cool when managers actually let people do and like have their strengths and be like what they want to do. And so like I said, like one sign of a great manager is the ability to describe in detail like their unique talents of his people. And so like I just think that just that step in general like is really cool to see, as like I've just really been like able to grow in like my jobs more recently, and just like why focus on things that I'm not good at or not don't want to do, and like why like when I can focus on things that I want to do. And so essentially even with like my on-campus job, I really enjoy InDesign and like working through like the Adobe Creative Suite. And so like I specifically got assigned this year to like do all of the like InDesign projects, which there were like 2 big ones, and so like I got to take over those because like that's what I want to do. So just like to thrive in like what you want to do is just really cool to see always. And like it just like says like a manager's like the coolest thing to see is like differences among people, and so I just think that was really cool. And then the next one is saying the tales of transformation, but like the under thing was the thing that like the subheading was the thing that really like took my eye, and it's like why is it so tempting to try to fix people. And I honestly think that it's really just like you just want everyone to be like you, not in all ways, but like essentially you think as this world comes, like I believe that like people think that they're their best self or like they're the best employee. Like I really think that like people think this, like, and so like essentially you want people to be more like you. But everyone is so unique and so different, so like you have to like learn to be different. And like this had mentioned, like if you all are the exact same and you all have like the same exact idea and like everything, we use our individuality, and like we just like lose like capability, like accomplishments, like we lose all of these things if we like don't be ourselves. And so I just think that like focusing on like who you truly are, like it's just means more to a company and to like an environment. And so say, and it was saying like there is like places where employees and like people struggle, and I think those do need to be like dealt with. Like say like you just really can't get this one thing and you have to do it for the job, like obviously that needs to be dealt with, that needs to be like under like, but like if there is like a spot they can like focus more on their strengths, like totally do that. And so like it was pretty much just saying like you have to cast for this role, and like to be like as a manager, like you have this position and you need to cast the exact person for it. And so I think just really looking for like the exact individual like unique person that you need for this role, and like finding it is just like it works so perfectly. And like sometimes that I like do believe that like it comes up about in a way where it wasn't meant to. So I think this is really important, and when you realize that this, and you should really like value that person. And like as I like haven't sent you yet, but like I'll explain like the way that me and my like fellow captain on the lacrosse team came. Like we had no idea, and my coach really didn't like place us there, the team kind of placed us there, but like essentially my coach had the last decision, but me and her are the exact complete opposites. And I'll explain it more in the end of the chapter when they talk about like people you are just like really like good partners with. But like I perfectly complete her as a person, and she has like all of the talents that I don't have, and I have all of the talents that she doesn't have. And like the way we are equally able to sit down and like be partners and be able to like explain our differences but still like be amazing and be good partners and like fully like lift up the team in different ways, I think is just like super cool. So like essentially like yes, my coach didn't cast that as a role, but like we fit the role so perfectly that it's like hard to come about that. And so just then the next chapter was going on like Each employee has like their own filter, his own way of interpreting the world, which like I have mentioned, like it's really something that's like come about in my mind. It's like each person, like really, like no matter how hard you try, like you can't just change a person. And why would you want to change a person? Because they're all made, like, I believe in God's image, like in the perfect way, in the perfect like reason. And so I think that it's just like really cool to like thrive on your uniqueness. And so just like each sorry just since each person has like their own unique talents and like unique differences too, just to like put that specifically in the like perfect role for them, I think can make a big difference, especially like seeing like what roles need to be done for each person. Like like I said, like if I'm really bad at something, like why would I do that? And like if I'm not going to give my 100% effort into something that I'm not good at, like why even put me there? And so I think this was like a good idea. And then it goes into the chapter where it's like spend time with like your best people, and like managers do play favorites because like essentially like you're always like there on stage, like being ready to like pretty much like not like show off to your manager, but if you're giving 100%, you should be like essentially showing off in a good way, because there's a way of showing off which is like cocky, but if there's also a way to like show off where it's like meant and good for the like whole entire role in an organization itself. And so I really liked how it was saying like you have like if you're a very good manager, you have a unique set of expectations for each person. You have to highlight and perfect each person's unique style, and you also have to like run interference for each employee. So just like all these things, and like give each person their own like job, like set of expectations, and all these things. Like people should be treated differently because of the way like they work, and I think that in the best way possible, that people who put in more work deserve more time and more energy, because like, and then if you don't put in that much work, like you'll notice that, and then you'll essentially want to put in more work to then get that praise as well. I think it's a circle. I think there's good parts and bad parts of it, but essentially that is like if you better your performance, like the more praise you give, and like the less like yelling, not like yelling, but like less like correction and like checkups on, essentially. So if like you don't like that thing, like put more effort in, just do that. And then I really enjoyed like the part where they were really saying how managers should really just like check in and like give like not just like one time a year be like, oh, I'm really thankful for you, but like really like tell like each employee like why you are so like thankful for them, because like if they know that like you're thankful for them, like they will not doubt you, and they'll still keep putting effort in. I just think that it really just like depends on how the manager is talking to a person, and like essentially if I receive thanks like at my job, and like I know that like I'm putting my full effort in and like receiving like a lot of value from that, like I will want to like do better and perform better. So I think, like I mentioned, like I think it's just a circle going about that's like if I'm focusing on my strengths and he's focusing on my strengths, like if I get praise for them, like I will obviously keep doing them. And so then essentially off of that, you just need to keep going through this process, because if you're already like giving thanks, like you can't just like stop all of a sudden. Just like, I think really just showing your employees that you really care about them. This one is saying, for a manager, like you're gonna drastically underestimate what like is possible in an employee, and so like focus on your best performers and keep pushing them towards the right edge of the bell curve. And I think it's like really cool, because honestly, like you have no idea what your employees are going to like come about and like what they're gonna do, and I think that it's just really important to like focus on that. And then all of a sudden like they'll surprise you in the best way possible, and you won't even like know. And also just like positive thinking about them, you'll focus more on the positives and like push them to like strive more. And if I'm thinking more of the positives in people anyway, like I believe in them more, and then I'll trust them, and just like one thing after another, like your employee is going to be a lot better if like you trust them and like are positive thinking about them, because you don't want someone talking bad about you behind your back, or like not being able to trust someone. And so I think it's just really cool to see like the process of like how positive thinking like really interferes and like helps you like gain trust in your workers as well. So like as you focus on the strengths, like you're managing essentially around the weaknesses, and this can be good, and I do think you do need to acknowledge where their weaknesses, like as it has mentioned before, but like really focusing on their strengths, letting them know. And then off of this, it's like excellent teams are built around individual excellence, and this is where I like really found as like a last key of like this, like focusing on their strengths, because there is essentially like there isn't an I in team, but essentially you do need a team to all be their most individual self. So there is in some way an I, as they really do need to be themselves and really like bring their uniqueness, and like that's what makes a team a team. If one person's doing all the work, it's not a team. So like if you know your worth and yourself like so good, and you can bring it to be with someone else, and also they are strong in that, and then someone else be strong in that, and like every single person is strong in that, and they know how to communicate and they know how to talk, like and you know like where your like strengths are, that you can bring those to the group. Like you do need to be your individual self in a team, so then the team like goes and is like good and grand and like the best way possible. And then at the very end, it just said, like, at this point, it's time to fix the casting error and stop trying to fix the person. So essentially, like, you can't fix a person no matter what. Like, every single person's their unique self. Just, like, you need to cast the right role for what you want. And I think this is, like, that was, like, a good final end. Like, it really just shows that, like, as a manager, you need to be more self-aware and, like, really just, like, place your person where you need them to be. And, like, really just focus on, like, how their unique talents are really just, like, thrive and be better.